I would want to read a verse from the chapter of the Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير. Chapter 49, verse number 13. God says, O mankind, we have created you from a male and a female and made you into nations and tribes that you may know one another. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of God is the most righteous of you. The most noble of you in the sight of God is the most righteous of you. Our coming together today is a reminder of the struggles our predecessors have gone through in their lifetime, and those struggles that we continue within our communities to go through. We as a community of Rio Grande Valley are able to witness firsthand the effects of inhumane laws enacted to harm the most vulnerable, only to benefit a few. Just to name a few, in the late 1970s and early in the 1980s, there was a law called Tough on Crime, was the motto on media and all around the country. And laws were enacted discriminating widely against blacks, Hispanics, just to fill prison beds, leaving communities fatherless and sometimes motherless, eventually destroying families and communities. And we moved to the 1990s, laws were enacted, the so-called zero tolerance, where it became the sole source of prison pipeline, which to school, from school to prison pipeline, which kept a few shareholders and their investors' pockets full, while feeding on the same youth who were fatherless and motherless to begin with because of the laws enacted a decade before. These laws have not only destroyed the self-esteem of young minds, but shattered their dreams of becoming someone in this world and made their life the more unbearable. Now, at this time and day, they want to feed on the Mexicans and the Muslims, because the African Americans and the Hispanics have woken up. So it's difficult to feed on them now. Now it's time to feed on the most vulnerable in society and go after the Mexican and go after the Muslims by demonizing our southern neighbors and banning Muslims from entering the country. It is always easy to blame someone else for someone's misfortune, but to really look into the mirror and realize one's mistakes, one needs a sincere and a bold heart. In Luke 41, verse 41, why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye and do not notice the log that is in your own eye? So God has made us from male and female into tribes to recognize one another, to help one another, to be with one another. We as a community, where most of our predecessors, grandparents, and ancestors were immigrants, we are all, or were, children of immigrants who came to this land. The only ones who were here from before were the natives. So if someone has the right to tell us to leave this land or go back to your country, I think it's the Native Indians. They are the first ones who have the right. Nevertheless, different cultures and ethnicities are what made this country what it is today. Diversity of people, culture, and religion has made this place unique. Nothing like this place in the world. And will continue to be if we continue to be true to our principles. Our Rio Grande Valley is a great example of growth and diversity. Even though 90% are Spanish speaking, whenever some stranger comes along, he's always more than welcome to stay in the valley alongside us. Coming from New York, I know this firsthand. Everywhere I go in the valley, I'm like one of everybody else. Never had an issue, never had problems with nobody. Was always welcome. But activists, as people who want to help other humans, we have to prevent them from continuing to sucking the blood of the most vulnerable society. We have to carry the burden from the shoulders of people like Cesar Chavez, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, Abraham Lincoln, Muhammad Ali, and the likes. We are responsible for our time. Remember, this is very important. We are responsible for this time in our time. And this time is unique for us. This is a challenging time indeed. We are not responsible for what happened in the past century. We are not going to be responsible for what happened in the next century. We will not be here. But we are responsible to make the best of our time, benefiting the humanity with the resources we have and uplift those we need to lead ahead. For me, as a local leader in my community, and all Muslims, 1.6 billion Muslims are with you today, we will continue to stand up against tyranny, oppression, and injustice wherever they may be. Thank you. No ban, no wall, no ban, no wall, no ban, no wall, no ban, no wall.
Okay, so up next,
Such a powerful message.
that's right. Up next, we have another wonderful speaker.